Hey guys, I won't take up too much more of your time. As I've told you all before, America is super racist, and they can pretend and lie and play those dinner party Washington D.C. games if they want to. But scroll down this YouTube video selection playlist and look what they're called. George Zimmerman, the dude who murdered a black kid, says that black lives are terrorist cowards. BLM is a Democrat controlled de facto terrorist organization. Minneapolis Union head leader defends calling Black Lives Matter a terrorist organization. When they call you a terrorist, the lives of Black Lives Matter co founder. So I just want you guys to understand like, this country's messed up. So if you think I'm a liar, you come out here and deal with some people for a while, see for yourself. Hello, everybody. I hope you all are having a beautiful night. Um, So a lot of times the reason I make some of these videos is for people in other countries that kind of don't really have any idea of what's going on in America. I like to give you all some of the truth in the matter. Okay, so first of all, everybody out there, anybody who ever sees my video, I want you to make I want you to make certain statements and then say it's terrorism, right? Think of certain things. And the reason I'm saying that is because I want you to think about that true statement, BLM, right? That's an acronym. So now when you take away the acronym and say what it really means, you're saying Black Lives Matter. So I want you to understand that people are going around in America saying Black Lives Matter is terrorism. Think about, I want you to step back and think about, if you can speak English, what that means. So I told you all before that the civil rights movement was in 1964, right? That's 59 years ago. The end of the civil rights movement, around the time Martin Luther King, a man that wanted equality for everybody, he was brutally murdered. After he was brutally murdered, the civil rights kind of started to end. It was around 1968. Now, those of you who aren't that good at math, that's around 50 something years ago. So around 50 something years ago, my parents and grandparents were alive and are still alive, certain of them. My parents are alive. Um, I can show you images and videos of what they used to do to people of color. Okay, so if you're Japanese, you used to have to live in an internment camp during World War II or during the war. I forget, World War One or two. I'm not going to get into the whole history of it right now. But if you were Chinese, you were a prisoner and had to build railroads at certain points of time. African Americans, when they first brought us here, they put vices on our faces so that we could no longer click and tick, use our language, and it would pierce our skin and pierce into our bones and neck if we spoke a certain type of way. They'd hang pregnant women up to trees and cut their bellies out. All type of heinous negative things. Now, the reason I'm bringing all that up, horsing. They tie each of your body parts to a horse and then shoot a gun, and then the horses would fly apart. So this was like around like 1800s when slavery was going on and different things like that. Well, then you have around into the 1900s. We start, helping Germany. We started helping Europe in World War II and different wars, but we were still slaves in America. Not slaves, but we couldn't use bathrooms like them. It was a colored bathroom. It said colored on it. If we were caught reading and writing, we'd be probably hanged. They put us in like ghettos and housing. It's called redlining. There was different parts of town and they would build ghettos for us. If we didn't live there, they'd come and burn our town down and stuff. Oklahoma or the Mississippi, you can watch different movies like Mississippi Burning and there's another one. There's Roots, but Roots is kind of like slavery. It's kind of like watered down. You can watch other different movies and documentaries. Everything was stolen, anything we invented, all those things. Well, I'm saying all that because this was like 100 years ago, 50 years ago. There's an NFL owner that's in a picture keeping black children from going to school. Now, the reason I'm saying all that because how are black people terrorists? That's what I don't. Am I not saying that right? How? If you were okay, now for the Caucasians that cared about us, that's what Mississippi Burn is about. Actually, and then there's another one that I'm forgetting about. But there was two white men that were driving in a car with an African American man. The police saw this and didn't like this, the Mississippi police. So they killed the white men for being with the nigga. Okay, so there was a phrase or a saying, disclaimer, do not take my video down. So I'm just going to, there was a phrase, the one thing we hate worse than an N-word is an N-word lover. That's where the word nigga comes from, because we were called the N-word with the hard ER at the end. They called us monkeys and stuff. Anybody can fact check this and try to take my video down, and then you'll be taking down the truth. So, okay, so now I'm going to go further into the President Obama. Now, America has been on a downward hill for a very long time. Very segregated, very racist. They have the Jim Crow laws. They have all that stuff. It got abolished in the Civil Rights Movement 50 years ago, 20 years before I was born. So then, after all that had happened, now we're in the present day and age. You have Obama, right? They treat him Obama, right? So then this little dog and pony show, they like to say Obama's the reason America's the problem. Obama is what's called a Hudsucker proxy. Thanks, Dan. Obama is a Hudsucker proxy. They basically put an African American man in office so that way, oh, and he did so good. Michelle Obama was against the bullying and she wanted to get healthier meals in schools and change the health code system. Obama forced health care, which was Obamacare, so that people could have insurance because of what, that movie John Q? Yeah. And all these other health insurances, people just dying and dying and dying. Oh my goodness. The things they say about Obama. But because he looks like me, the color of his skin, the only thing certain news networks say is he's bad, he's bad, he's a terrorist, he's bad. Now, I want to show you the trend of now if you notice in America, it's like black bad. Now, I showed you guys statistics a while back, and I can show them at the end of the video, that there were 7.7 million crimes committed, and Caucasians committed 5.3 million of them. That's 70% of the crime and total, while the other minorities and groups made up 30% total altogether. That means African Americans, Hispanics, Hindu, Arabic, Chinese, Muslim, all of us together did 30% of the crime, while they did 70% of the crime. But there's a trend to saying that, especially after 9/11, they would try to say that Muslims were terrorists, African Americans were menace to society, that Hispanics were illegal immigrants that were going to come in and take over the country. It's all whitewashing. That's what we call it. They're bleaching our personalities to try to take away from their guilt. That's why if you notice, they keep trying to do this trend of liberal, liberal, liberal. You guys, they don't really have any real brain cells. The word liberal comes from the word to liberate. And to liberate means to be free. When you are free, you then aren't bound by the world's foolishness. I'm not talking about laws, because laws exist for a reason. I am basically saying the law says that America is free, but within these small cities, towns, and within the culture and the institution of America, all these Caucasians are very, 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 very funny acting sometimes. A lot of them are. A lot of them aren't. The problem with a lot of them are versus a lot of them aren't is that then you have a war between the Caucasian community within itself. Then on the outside of that, we are all affected. So I'll give you an example. Rosewood, that's the name of the movie. There's a movie called Rosewood. Boy, don't watch that if you have a weak stomach. All right, so basically even in terms of healthcare, they had something called the Tuskegee experiments. They would inject us with random serums and chemicals to test on us. And a lot of people died and got hurt. Bill Gates did the same thing in India. I'm sorry, Bill Gates tried to fight polio in India and caused a lot of problems and made a lot of people sterile and destroyed a lot of people trying to fix things. So what I'm saying is a lot of things happen for a reason. That's why I marked myself, anybody who liked to play with me, because everything happens for a reason. And there's a lot of wicked, destructive people out there in the shadows that are afraid of the light. And I like to let them know that if you touch fire, if you're afraid of the light, don't touch fire. So, with that being said, I was told to tell you that, whoever you are. Okay. So, people are going down a vortex of ancient destruction. We'll call it a fall from a long time ago. If people do not change their ways, negativity is not going to transform into like, okay, so I guess what we're doing is we're trying to put like negativity in a cocoon as a caterpillar and then expecting like some pretty beautiful butterfly. It'd probably be a white butterfly that's white and just floating away. If you ever run into like the conservative twins or the Hodge twins, you guys can YouTube them if you want. That's the perfect example of what I mean. Grooming and programming. When you get two African American men to utterly hate themselves and their community because of what they're spoon fed. We only know that black people are criminals and toting guns and shooting and this and that. Now, no, you actually know the real number of murders Caucasians commit. It's well over the number of African Americans, but they don't want people to know that. It's fear mongering and fear. So then, if people are afraid of Caucasians, their institution crumbles, they lose credibility, and then the power shifts, as in the paradigm shift that I was talking about. So, what I like to explain to people is if you're in a county with less than 10,000 people, your murders never were recorded and are not recorded. If you are in okay, how am I saying this? Okay, town. If you are in a town with less than 10,000 residents, none of the murders are recorded within the FBI. If you are in a county with less than 25,000 residents, none of your murders are recorded within the FBI. If you plead down from murder to manslaughter, that's a totally different charge and it goes under the accidental death category. They are playing mind games with you all. And if you honestly think that 500 million people only commit 4,000 murders a year, you're falling victim to the system. People can get mad at me for sharing this information. I've done a lot of research because I am what's considered a nerd. I used to get beat up a long time ago for constantly being into things that the world aren't into. And so my research led me here. You thought that I only researched religion? No. I research and understand and grow. I made a statement a while back. Einstein and these different scholars had to go to universities and had to go learn from people in the ancient times. I am considered what's super sentient. I have everything in the palm of my hand. I can look up every quote Einstein ever said. I can look up every date that was ever recorded or art for every artifact that's in any database or registry in the world because of the internet. And then I can cross-reference and study and learn from accredited academies that are free now because the world loves entertainment and attention. Even the institution of colleges, making people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get educated and then be in debt all their life when they could be donating that money that they're making to other people, but they can't. And then the institution of taxes, even gifts you have to pay money for and taxes and revenue. And then you taxing all these old people that are old and decrepit, and now they still got to pay property taxes and you guys ever play Super Street Fighter and Akuma does this move and he moves into the darkness and then when he comes back you didn't even realize what he's doing? It's like a thief in the night, right? Yeah. So I just hope you all can figure it out. Stop with what you guys are doing. I'm tired of even saying their name. The news network that is playing with people's hearts, both of them, CNN and Fox, I don't even care. Y'all need to chill out. Y'all are creating lynch mobs. That's what they used to do a long time ago. There was picnics, and what they do is they would, some stuff y'all just don't need to know. So let's try to figure it out and change. Because what y'all are doing was saying black people are the problem. Black people are sagging. You're uneducated and you're not taking history, science, and psychology into effect. 100 to 75 to 50 years ago, we tried to be educated. We tried to learn. We tried to do these things, and our towns were burned down. We were murdered. We were attacked. There are videos from the 60s and 70s saying, Nigger, stay out of my neighborhood. Stay out of my school. They created this mess. Who are they? You want to play psychological mind games some more? America needs to fix this now, or else there's going to be civil war and unrest just like Israel and Palestine for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. You guys are trying to build on top of wounds, and what's going to happen is it's all going to collapse over every civilization and slavery, enslavement, this, that, all these other things, war. And then when the civilization falls because of imploding civil wars, they can't figure out why. Drop the swords, drop the guns, drop the psychotics, drop the cameras, drop the rhetoric, and let's fix this. I read a staggering statistic that 1 in 2 people worldwide after the isolation are becoming mentally ill. That is extremely scary. This is all happening because of the hatred that exists. It is what's called a punishment. So, I love you all to the best of my ability. If you're born in this day and age, Black people aren't the problem and white people aren't the problem. It's money and institutions and power and people that hide in the dark, and we all need to learn how to love each other. You want to be woke, learn how to love. You want to destroy darkness, turn on the lights. How about that? The only way you can do that is be transparent and love each other and learn how to tell the truth. So if you're scared of something or somebody, you need to tell the truth and learn to work on those things.